Welcome to Ask Rabbit Entitled Parents, where an entitled mom steals a kid's cat and gets arrested. I have 3 awesome stories for you today. Let's jump into it. This first post is titled, Mother of Bride Forgets It Isn't Her Wedding. As a kid, I would often be working at my dad's workplace. He was an off-premise caterer and an event planner and would often be hired to put together lavish wedding parties. Huge feast, cheese and fruit tables 40 feet long, lots of wine, sometimes multiple pigs for both an afternoon and an evening roast, lots of fancy people wanting fancy parties, paying a ton of money and expecting the world to revolve around them. One event in particular stood out because when the bride-to-be and her mother came in to go over details, they had some rather heated disagreements over some really stupid crap. My dad would just sit there quietly, not taking sides, and patiently wait for people to work out the differences. But one argument came to an interesting and final conclusion. The mother of the bride was arguing about the specific shade the decorative ribbons and icing trim on the cake should be. Up until that point, she had proven herself incapable of letting her daughter have the final say in anything. From the menu to the plate garnishes, to the time the meal was to start, the mother was insisting that she have her way on everything. The daughter was gritting her teeth and just grinding through it. But when her mother started to fuss about the exact shade of off light green, no, that's too light, no, that's too dark, the bride snapped. She loudly and firmly stated, "Mother, if you don't knock it off right this instant, I'm going to disinvite you from the wedding. This is my day, and while I value your input, the decisions will be mine." She then turned to my dad, looked him squarely in the eyes, and said, "I will be signing your check. You work for me. Nothing is decided until I say so. If my mother tries to plan or change anything, you are to call me immediately. I do not expect you will have any problems with that." My dad simply said, "Not at all," and they got back to planning the wedding. Alright, this next post is titled, Parents Leave Me, a 14-year-old female, with a very sick baby and refuse to return until they have had enough fun. When I was 14, 20 years ago, I had been babysitting around my small town for 2 years. I had a great reputation with my regulars and would routinely stay until the early hours of the morning when the parents needed a night out. I would normally charge $15 an hour, but that would jump up to $20 after midnight. There was a wedding to be held in town, which meant people would be traveling to attend, and I was recommended to babysit by a trusted family friend. I had never met these parents before. Bit of backstory. At the time, there was a big outbreak of meningococcal. There had been cases of it from where these parents were traveling from, and as a kid who was interested in stuff like this, I had read up all about it and knew all the symptoms. The night of the wedding comes, and I arrive at the hotel to meet the parents. The baby is 1, and I thought it would be an easy night because I normally have 3 or 4 kids to look after. It was a really hot summer night, and the baby was just in a nappy. The mother mentioned he was teething and might be a little whiny, but nothing I couldn't handle. About an hour after they had left, around 2 p.m., the baby woke up and was screaming. He was hot. I mean, so hot to the touch that I pulled my hands back when I went to pick him up. I tried to calm him and cool him, but to no avail. Any food or drink I tried to give him, he vomited straight up, and he was constantly soiling his nappy with a steady stream of diarrhea. At 4 p.m., when I knew the ceremony was over, I called the mother to tell her about her very sick child. This wasn't just teething. His temperature was soaring, and she didn't even have any ibuprofen or anything to help with that. She sighed into the phone and told me she'd be there in 20 minutes. Where the reception was, it was a 2-minute walk back to the hotel. After waiting 2 hours, and the baby not getting any better, I rang again and was ignored 3 times. By this stage, it had cooled down outside, so I took the baby for a little walk along the veranda to try and distract him. However, I had locked myself out when I went to go back in. The baby vomited again and did a massive shart at the same time that dripped out from the nappy. So at this stage, I was covered in vomit and crap, locked out, no phone, and with a screaming baby. I had to walk through reception at the hotel, which happened to be attached to the restaurant, so those dining got a good eyeful and a smell to go with their dinner. The lady at the front desk let me back in the room, and I tried to ring again. The mother finally answered, and I said your baby is terribly sick. He's hot, vomiting, and seemed like he has a rash starting to develop, which is a giveaway for meningococcal. She sighed again. They had just started dinner and would be straight back after that, and please don't try to call again. Another 2 hours later, around 9:30, I rang my mother, and she came to help out and bring me a change of clothes. We finally got the baby down around 11 and I rang one last time. Said that I had my mother with me and I would be leaving at 12 after I called an ambulance for their obviously seriously sick child. That mother ended up coming up at 11:45, drunk as hell and very upset that I had ruined her night. She couldn't enjoy herself because she kept worrying that I was going to call. She cussed me out about the smell in the room and how many nappies and bottles I had gone through. My mom stood back and let me handle it, but I spoke up and said if I could get paid now because we needed to get home. The mother handed me an envelope and shut the door in my face. $20. That was all that was in the envelope. I was owed $150. Mom knew we wouldn't get her to answer the door again, so she took me home. The next morning, Mom woke me up with the extra $130. She had gone to the hotel at 7 a.m., and once she told the manager what had happened, the manager slipped a note under the hotel door saying that due to the extra cleaning and disinfecting that would need to be done in the room, there was to be an extra charge of $200 put on the room, plus the extra $130 that our in-house sitter was owed. When everyone looks after each other in a small town, it is a nice feeling. Apparently, that father blew up when the extra charges were put on his card, didn't realize the baby was so sick, and was swearing at his hungover wife. The mother was screaming about the unsatisfactory babysitting I had done, and they left in a huff. I think about that poor baby every now and again, hoping that he was alright and got over whatever was making him sick. I was in a small panic for about a week, waiting to get sick too, but thankfully, by some miracle, I didn't. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed those first two stories. Before we get into the next story, if you guys could please do me a huge favor and hit that like button down below. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss any future videos. Alright, this next post is titled, Entitled Parent Steals My Cat and Calls the Police When I Take It Back. So this doozy happened a few years ago when I now, a 17-year-old male, was 13. Some context. My mom and Entitled Mom have been friends for a while now. So every month or so, my mom would force me to hang out with Entitled Kid. The reason this sucked is because he was the most overly dramatic, spoiled child we could think of. One day, me and Entitled Kid were chilling in my room, and my cat walks in. Entitled Kid almost instantly tried to pet her, but my cat just ran up into my lap. Entitled Kid, being the spoiled brat that he is, started complaining that, "It's not fair, I want to pet the cat." I said, "The cat doesn't want to be petted, leave her alone." A little while later, I went into the bathroom. My house is really old, so it has a lock on the outside and inside, to which the keys for both I leave on my desk. Entitled Kid, while I was in the bathroom, took the key and locked me in. I then heard my cat making hissing and scratching noises and Entitled Kid running off with my cat. Me, who was worried for the safety of my cat, jumped out the bathroom, which was on the second floor, onto the grass. Entitled Kid was outside trying to put my cat in his backpack. I got so worried I went up to Entitled Kid, shoved him, and took my cat. I then scurried inside and locked the door. I can only imagine Entitled Kid went back to his house and told Entitled Mom his version of what went down. A couple of hours later, I hear a car parking in my driveway, and to my horror, it was Entitled Kid and Entitled Mom. I panicked and locked all the doors and stealthily recorded from a window in case she broke any of my parents' property. The Entitled Mom, in the most blood-curdling voice, screamed, "How dare you touch my son, you delinquent! I'll make your parents send you to a mental facility, you disturbed little psycho!" I kept on recording this, and when she stopped, I saw Entitled Mom calling someone. 5 minutes later, the police arrive and knock on the door. As soon as I open it, the Entitled Mom lunges at me, and that woman had the audacity to slap me. The police shoved her to the wall immediately and detained her. Police then sat me and Entitled Kid down separately to ask what happened. I told them everything and showed them a video of Entitled Mom threatening me and showed the officer the documents of us adopting my cat. The officers then took Entitled Mom away and called Entitled Kid's dad, which is actually a very nice person. They also called my parents and told them everything. My parents were seething from what I heard on the phone. They asked my parents if they would want to press charges and told them they would discuss it with me and see what I thought. My parents didn't take her to court, but straight up demanded €1,000, which was an offer Entitled Mom accepted in an instant. Ever since this happened, my parents cut full contact with Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid. Last I heard of Entitled Mom was that she lost custody of Entitled Kid. And the last I heard of Entitled Kid was that he got suspended for getting caught smoking in the bathroom. Thanks for listening to my story, and I hope you enjoyed. Alright, that's going to wrap up today's Entitled Parents video. I hope you guys enjoyed those 3 stories today. If you did, drop a comment down below letting me know what your favorite story was. Hit that like button and make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss any future videos. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.